Gates Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding, and I'm here today with Trader Rigelson. And Rigelson, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your most recent payout with Apex Trader Funding. Now, we got a chance to chat a little bit before we started. This is not your first payout, is it?
No, it is not.
No, just the first time we've had a chance to talk about it. But let's put a little context on this, and we'll get into kind of where your journey's gone. But how did you actually, and when did you actually get into trading?
Back in 2012. So I've been doing it full time for about 11, going on 12 years now. I started in equities, penny stocks, and OTC pink sheets. Went into listed stocks, and then just evolved from there from options to the last 5-6 years. I've been mainly futures and commodities.
Right. No crypto in the mix, huh?
I've done some crypto trading, like through the forex side and forex brokerages, but with a lot of regulations that's been coming through the last few years, it's been very difficult to partake in it other than just long term.
What prompted you to basically dip your toes into trading in the first place?
I was in a motorcycle accident and I was no longer able to work physically, to do manual labor, and I needed to find a way to make money. And I came across someone that was teaching people how to invest in the markets and make money daily. I pursued it and became one of their top students when it came to trading equities. And very early on, I saw that the financial markets, Wall Street, was one of the best ways to gain money in a short period of time, to where, even if I was to go for a doctorate degree, I still wouldn't be able to make nowhere near the amount of money that I've been able to make through a trading. Right. So that was why I got into it.
So you experienced an early success with the program that you got into. How long did the process take before you started to see some consistent positive results?
I was fortunate to see positive results within the first month and a half, due to the fact that when I started trading, the market was coming off of the '08 crash.
Right.
So if you remember, 2012, 2013, the market was just itching for any little thing to run. And I was catching a lot of companies, pharmaceutical companies, a lot of pump and dumps. So I was very fortunate in the time that I started trading, to where it wasn't as difficult as it is now with all the volatility in the back and forth, and less things moved more directional. So I was very fortunate when I started.
As you've kind of grown in your trading journey, obviously you've gone through the full spectrum of instruments. And like we know, Forex and futures move very similarly. Options are pretty similar, but you add in the dynamics of Greeks. We know that equities, unless you have a lot of leverage or a tremendous amount of capital, it's really tough to kind of get those big moves. Each instrument sort of has its unique sense of how to trade it. Have you had to evolve and develop your strategy with each transition, or have you found a lot of consistencies that really are there across the board that maybe you've expanded as you've kind of gotten into each instrument type?
It's definitely evolved throughout the years because, again, I started off with penny stocks. A lot of times it was difficult to find shares to short on a particular stock after doing a ton of research and finding out how fictitious it was and so forth. And then to reach out to the broker and, I want to short 1,000 shares and they don't have it available.
Right.
So from that, I had to transition into actual listed stocks, where it was much easier to be able to find shares to short. And then I went into the options, and options, I used to like playing those during the earnings, but as a retail trader, we have a massive disadvantage to institutionals. So I quickly got tired of that because the lack of control that it gave me. And that's when I stumbled into futures and commodities. And the one thing that I loved about futures and commodities, no PDT, because when I started, I was under PDT, and I would always have to try to find a stock that it had really good, strong chart to continue the following days, to where I could buy it at the end of the day, to where now I can sell it the next day, therefore bypassing the PDT rule.
As you've developed, and obviously at one point when you're trading penny stocks, and certainly there's no prop firms, there's no funding for that. So you've obviously traded your own funds and obviously had a level of success pretty early on, fortunately. But now obviously operating as a funded trader, there's a different dynamic. Now for you, have you noticed anything psychologically, mentally, or tactfully different in the way that you trade when it's not your own personal savings on the line, so to speak?
Yes. The one thing that I appreciate about funding companies is that it forces you as a trader to be more strict and to risk less, right? Because there's certain parameters you have to abide by.
Right.
Whereas when I was trading my own personal capital, I mean, there were times I was down 34 grand from just merely having a drawdown of 500. And because I knew I had the capital to sustain that drawdown, I allowed myself to be 34, 48,000 in drawdown, and then, walking away with a 5,000 profit, which was kind of a shitty trade when you look at the parameters, how much I was down to how much I got in return. With prop firms, I appreciate the fact that it forces you to be more strict.
What does that do to your stress level when you're in a trade?
Less, to be honest, because it's much painful when you lose, 5 grand of your own money, and then you have the struggle of trying to make it back. And I made the mistake of, when I would take a 2 or 3, 5K loss and I would try to make it the next day or the next trade, further compounding my loss. And with prop firms, to be honest, $200 you can get an account, $300 you can get an account. So that I view that as like, okay, if I lost $2,000, I can literally lose a funded account 10 times before it really stings. When you're trading with firms' money, it's much less stressful and less emotion because I didn't work hours upon hours to make that money.
Do you think that there's a tendency to over leverage or over position when it's prop firm money versus when it's your own account? And if so, do you find the rules helpful, like the 30% rule, basically to not over leverage a position? Have you found that this helps you make better decisions as you move forward?
Yes, it does, because I will say the one thing that's constant through personal trading capital and through funding capital is the over trading, the over leveraging, the continuous trying to make a certain amount of money, or everyone wants to make 10, 20, 50 grand a day. Ideally it would be nice, but realistically it's not something that is sustainable, and it is not something that is going to be every day, because every day your returns are contingent upon the market volatility. The direction of the market is ranging. Today, for a good 2.5 hours, the market was just ranging between a specific level, and I'm talking specifically about NQ.
Sure.
So
I watched it happen.
so that when it comes to personal and funded is the mistake that all traders make, is where we're trying to make so much money and being able to be confined and content with making 30%. It's like you have a specific rule, right? And I was actually explaining this to someone earlier today where they were complaining about, the 30% rule. And I'm just like, well, every prop firm has certain parameters that you have to abide by. And, you wouldn't be a football player coming in and trying to play basketball with the same football rules and guidelines. It just doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So when you understand that these are the parameters of the firm, just abide by it. Rules are rules. We have rules in our society. Nobody wants to, make a stop at a red light. But if you do, you can get a ticket, you can get into a car accident. So, you just have to abide by whatever is being presented to you. And again, to be able to make 10, 100, 200 times percent your return based on what is costing you for these accounts, it's minuscule.
Have you found that these rules really mesh with what you should be doing as a trader, or do you think that they're restrictive for you?
It helps with the discipline side. There has been some things where I had to modify as far as, even the most updated rules and so forth, where as long as I understand that, okay, I can't make a certain amount a day. And again, Apex is I view Apex as better in the sense that you are allowed to have multiple accounts. So if you want to make 4 grand a day, just get multiple accounts, link them together, or trade them individually, which is something that I tend to do just because, I know that there are times I'm going to have a losing streak. So I'd rather have a losing streak on one account versus 10 accounts. I've had to adjust the way I traded, because originally I would trade all my accounts at the same time. And one bad day would put me in a funk where I would then, try to make everything back, and I'm over leveraging, and next thing you know, boom, I've blown the accounts, and now I have to start the process all over again.
At this point, having had the opportunity to be a consistently profitable trader and take payout after payout, what has trading with Apex Trader Funding positively done for your life?
It allows me to travel several times a month. I literally just came back last night from Greece. I was out there for 9 days. I traded while I was there. I requested my payout while I was there.
Nice.
And I thought there might be a chance that, I might actually be able to have this interview while being there and being able to show the villas that I'm staying in. Literally every month I'm traveling 3 to 4 times. And I'm still able to trade because I'm trading the London session or I'm trading the Asian session. So it's been great. It allows me to pay my bills because again, trading is what I do full time. So I don't have, a 9 to 5. I don't have, other incomes coming in. So yeah.
I love what you're doing because I think so many traders get caught up and they get started with this idea of the trader lifestyle, laptop lifestyle, being anywhere in the world, trading from a beach if you can get a Wi-Fi signal or whatever that case may be. And then we get so caught up in the grind of either learning something new or just life in general, and we forget that we have this opportunity. I love that you're taking full advantage of it, really to that level and to that extent, because it really does show what's possible, and you don't have to have $1 million in the bank to start with to be able to get to that kind of a lifestyle. So, well, thanks for spending some time with me today and sharing some of your insight and your wisdom and some of your experience along the way. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing it. Obviously, it's working for you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll chat with you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate you.